Like with Old Friends Not Forgotten, this actually um, went back to that red logo, Clone Wars logo, the old school Lucasfilm logo. But unlike the Old Friends Not Forgotten, where it started off with that big thunderous John Williams Star Wars theme, we went straight into the action. There was no intro music, there was no narration. It just went right back to Ahsoka in that pose, which again just reinforces my belief that this was supposed to be a full length pit movie.
Yeah.
It's like they just cut it and threw in the graphics is essentially what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
incredible opening, and I think about it too, and I'm sitting there thinking about it. It just wouldn't. This was the best way to do it because it wouldn't have felt natural having a narration opening up and going straight into that dire circumstances. Do you?
No, I agree, and I can see why they did it that way. Whereas when you think about other Clone Wars arcs, um, there's a little bit more of a definitive end, and then they go to the next one. I mean, I've watched every episode. I mean, you and I both, and I can just think about different arcs and how they end an episode and kind of iris out or stuff like that. But with this, with her in that pose, I love that they did do the green Lucasfilm Limited, the red Clone Wars title card, and then boom, right to her, just to keep it flowing. And yes, it feels like, yeah, they put these four together, it would be a movie. And by putting that also that title card, that says the Phantom Apprentice, they just help you with a little bit of the demarcation. But yeah, you can easily pop that stuff out, and here you go with a full with a movie. Um, incredible start, and and we get Rex coming in and helping.
Exactly. And they do come in and help, and they're the ones that rescue her from Maul. And they continue the search for him once he does escape. It's one thing I like about this is we get to see the camaraderie still between Ahsoka and Rex. We knew it was there. We've seen it throughout the series. We saw it through Rebels. Um, and when they're reunited and how she talks about him before they go find him and their attachment through the series and how even Rex takes it when they think she's gone at the end of uh, Twilight of the Apprentice. So it's good to see their relationship being more on display, their friendship, uh, I they're they're obviously, I mean, they have quite the friendship there, don't you think?
Well, sure, and as we've talked, we see her meet Rex, at the very beginning in another Clone Wars movie, not this arc, but the actual Clone Wars movie that came out in 2008. I can visualize it right now in my mind, seeing her walking with Rex on Christophsis, and of course, you and I have, talked about their relationship in our coverage of Rebels, and when we see Rex and Gregor and Wolf there, and I just visualized the hug between Ahsoka and Rex that they show in Rebels, and just heartwarming. So I love their relationship, and like Dave Filoni said, that really honestly, this arc is really about showing the end of this, the end of the Clone Wars from their perspective, because we really, like he said, we get Anakin and Obi-Wan's, because that's told in Episode 3. So it's really good that we're getting it the big focus on these two characters that we love.
And I'm glad we're getting that too, because they are very important characters as the series goes on, and they're needed to be addressed. Well, apparently my phone thought I was talking to Siri. It just, did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know why. My phone is upside down on the other side of my desk, so that was really weird. Anyway, hey Siri.
Uh-huh.
You just did it to my phone.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear.
Oh, jeez.
See, this is the type of elegant discussion you're going to get here in Star Wars Reactions.
You're like, really?
We're going to talk to each other's series.
This is just lowbrow at this point, buddy.
So you go, hey Siri, tell me a joke.
Oh gosh. Well, she didn't hear you that time, fortunately.
Okay. That's the one I always like to ask my phone. I usually do that while I'm driving, had it sitting next to me, and I just yell, hey Siri, tell me a joke. So
Does she give you one?
Yeah, she'll tell you a joke.
Oh, cool.
She's even made a couple jokes about Yoda.
Oh my God, I gotta try that out and have fun with that.
Let's see. Hey Siri, tell me a Star Wars joke.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh yeah, now you're going to play hard to get. All right, fine. I see how it is. Anywho, back to the Phantom Apprentice.
Right.
I love it. Where are my show notes? Hold on. All right, perfect. Now, what I want to, I mean, we get a lot of flags in this episode as to where in the timeline we are compared to Revenge of the Sith. And I like how they played that out. We have Ahsoka talking to Anakin, or to not Anakin, but to Obi-Wan. And they're discussing things, and he talks about how that Anakin's on a secret mission for the Jedi Council, and he's going out to hunt General Grievous. And they find out that another part, they find out that Dooku is dead at the hands of Anakin, nonetheless. But it's, we know where in the movie we are, and that is incredible. I love the fact that they're intertwining the story with the movies, and it was, we'd get subtle nods in previous series. We'd get nods to movies and this and that, but this is direct. We're running 100% parallel with Revenge of the Sith right now, and it's so much fun. I almost wish somebody would take Revenge of the Sith and this arc once it's done and kind of edit them together to where they're supposed to be. You know how like you cut scenes in a movie and it gets the same time frame, but you're seeing what's going on elsewhere. I wish they would do that for this.
Yeah. Oh, someone will. That's going to happen. There's no question. Some Star Wars fan with some great editing skills is going to knock that out. And, I think back, Aaron, to prior to this arc starting, we were finishing up the Martez sisters one, and, we had the introduction of Maul and that. And one of the things that I was hopeful of was, will they run this right up to, the events in episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And this has been so neat that the answer is yes, they're going to do that, David, but they're even going to go further past it. And I didn't expect that. So again, here's Dave Filoni, writing and directing in such a great way to, make something interesting that, we know is going on, and we've seen it in episode 3. But just like you said, I love these little flags they put down, and I didn't expect them to overlap and go into episode 3. So what a great and welcome surprise.
Exactly. And I knew at some point we were going to overlap because it was going to happen, but I didn't think we would run this parallel to it. which is incredible. It's an incredible feat of to have something overlap like that, but to have it run parallel, these events happening while we know these other huge events are happening, is just a tribute and it takes talent, and that's really a nod to how good Dave Filoni is at writing these stories. So incredible story writing. Let's talk a little bit about Maul and Ahsoka, because that was a big linchpin through this episode, was this duel that it ultimately came down to between Ahsoka and Maul. That we knew there was history there. We knew that from Rebels when they first meet up. He looks at her, he's Lady Tano. So we know there's history there, and I don't think we've seen the extent of their entire history as of yet, because we still have 2 episodes left to go. But
right,
this shows this type of conflict between the two. There was a lot of mind games being played in this fight. It wasn't just an all-out saber versus saber, force power versus force power. There was mind games being played. There was attempted manipulations. This was an intense saber battle. How did you feel, and what did you think of Maul versus Ahsoka?
Well, it's like I had mentioned in my opening thoughts, and I'll talk about it in even more depth in my closing thoughts. But for here, I think it's good to discuss how you hear Maul, like I said, doing what Dooku did in Episode 2 when Obi-Wan is captured on Geonosis, and he literally tells him what's going on, that the Sith Lord is controlling the Senate. And says the name Darth Sidious, and obviously here we see Obi-Wan confirm that. But the discussion between them, he's telling her the truth, and then ultimately you get to the part where Ahsoka has one more question, and what his interest is in Anakin, and how he tells her that something that she can't get her head around, which is he's the key, not to bring balance, but to destroy, and to destroy things in the role of Darth Sidious's apprentice. And then that, of course, gets the lightsaber battle going between them, which was just staggeringly awesome. And we can talk more about how that was done, and encourage people to watch the video that just posted on StarWars.com showing how that was done. But I love the discussion between them, and how ultimately Maul is saying, hey, we can take down Sidious. This is Vader to Luke in Empire Strikes Back. This is Kylo Ren to Rey in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Always this plan to join up, team up, and beat the big baddie. But it was an interesting little twist there to hear Ahsoka initially say, yes, I'll help you, but then get frustrated with Maul and say, you lie, and then here comes the big battle. Just incredible. By the way, I just want to take up residence in that throne room on Mandalore, because some of the greatest lightsaber battles of all time have taken place in that throne room. Just side note.
Oh, yeah, there have been some great battles in that throne room. There's also been a lot of heartbreak in that throne room,
Yes.
which is why I probably would have a hard time living in that throne room. But man, great saber battles there. The motion capture aspect you mentioned was absolutely incredible. This was something that I was kind of not necessarily surprised. Well, I was surprised, to be perfectly honest. So, they've been doing this for so long. What and